Ariel, and I am back. I am sorry for completely dropping the ball last week. I just didn't feel like filming, so I didn't. But we're here, and we're going to be doing the anti-TBR tag today. I will link the original video down below, so go check that out, and let's get started. So the first question is, what is a popular book that everyone loves that you have no interest in reading? And my answer for this is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller and or Circe by Madeline Miller. I feel like I've just had my fill of like Roman Greek historical fiction, and so I'm not really interested in that right now. And even though I'm sure it's really good, everybody who reads it seems to love it. Like, the story just doesn't interest me all that much. So I don't know, I might pick this one up someday, but probably not anytime soon. And next up is, what is a classic book or author who you have no interest in reading? And for me, this is generally all classics because I feel like I read enough bad classics in high school that I would be perfectly happy to never read another classic again in my life. But specifically, I actually got through high school without reading To Kill a Mockingbird, and even though I don't actually know what that story is even about, I have zero interest in ever reading it, so I probably never will. Question number 3 is an author whose books you have no interest in reading. For me, this is Sarah J. Maas. Sarah J. Maas is an author who I didn't even know before I started watching YouTube, but she's definitely talked about a lot in fantasy YouTube because her stories are set in fantasy settings, but they're very romance heavy as far as I know, and I'm just not really that interested in romance books of that sort right now. I read a lot of Ilona Andrews books, and they sort of give me the similar vibe, and I'm just not really interested in reading that right now. Question number 4 is, who is an author whose books you've read a couple of them and you've decided that they aren't for you? For me, I'm going to say Cassandra Clare. I did read City of Bones way back in high school, and I remember it just being okay, but then I never continued with the series, so at this point I'm probably not going to. There are just too many books in that series. So I'm not really interested in committing myself to a series that I'm just not that interested in. Question number 5 is, what is a genre that you have no interest in? I kind of mentioned this before, but historical fiction generally I'm not very interested in, and specifically I'm not really interested in Western European and also the US, kind of like 1800s, 1900s age historical fiction. Again, I feel like I'm sort of traumatized by high school. I feel like I read a lot of that kind of stuff in high school. And it was never interesting to me, and I am just not interested in reading that kind of stuff anymore. If I am going to pick up a historical fiction, I am interested in reading things from other places around the world, places that I don't know as much about. For example, right now I'm reading Constellation of Vital Phenomena, which I mean is set in like 2000, so it's not really historical fiction, but it is set in Chechnya during the fall of the USSR, and I just don't really know that much about that, so I am finding it pretty interesting. Question number 6 is, what is a book that you have bought but you will never read? And I generally don't buy a lot of books, as you can see my pitiful bookshelf behind me, but I was a member of Amazon Prime for several years, and through Amazon Prime you can get access to Amazon First Reads, which allows you to select a book from my selection of 6 books to download for free. And so I actually have quite a lot of those on my Kindle, and unfortunately they're not always the most interesting books. The ones that I have read were not that great, to be honest, and so I'm probably not going to pick up a lot of these. There are a couple that I'm interested in, but some of the ones that I'm not really interested in are Never Again So Close by Claudia Serrano, The 10th Island by Diana Markham, The Killing Fog by Jeff Wheeler, The Puzzle of You by LEAH MERCER, or LEAH MERCER, The Secrets of Lost Stones by Melissa Payne, and A Fire Sparkling by Julianne McLean. There are a couple others, but I'll stop there. Let me know if any of those are actually worth reading, and maybe I will pick them up, but they're probably just going to rot in my Kindle forever. Number 7 is, what is a series that you have no interest in reading? I feel like I've kind of given a couple of those already, but I will also add Percy Jackson to this list. I feel like I was just a little bit too old for Percy Jackson when it first started getting published, and even though it is super popular, I just kind of missed that train, and I'm not really interested in getting on it. I think I've said this before in videos, but I'm not really interested in reading from the perspective of teenage boys anymore. So I think I'm just going to pass on that one. And honestly, probably all of Rick Riordan's series. I know he's more like middle grade, and I'm generally not into middle grade anymore, so we're just going to say no to this. And the last question is, what is a new release that you have no interest in reading? So this isn't exactly like a super new release, but Philip Pullman is in the process of publishing the Book of Dust. He's published 2 out of 3 in the trilogy, and this is a follow-up to the His Dark Materials trilogy. And I have tried multiple times to read His Dark Materials, and I just cannot get through it. I don't know what it is, but since I haven't even read that, I probably won't pick up the second series, even though he says they're not technically sequels. But yeah, I'm just not really a fan of his writing. I saw he actually said that he doesn't enjoy reading fantasy, and he doesn't consider his books fantasy, and so maybe that's why I don't really like them, because they're not, I don't know, they feel old. And like I said, I don't enjoy historical fiction or classics, so that kind of old time writing is just not for me. So that's all I have for this video today. This is just for fun, so please don't be offended if your favorite book is one of the ones that I said I probably won't read. Feel free to make the case about why I should read it down below if you'd like, and I'll see you next time.